let's have a little bit more fun here with the 8 months out to the World Cup. Let's talk about what we consider our top 8 essential players for the United States women's national team at this moment, as 8 months out to the World Cup. We know that there's going to be a bigger roster for this World Cup. FIFA approved 26 player roster sizes for the men's team. The women's are still currently 23, but I would anticipate that that is going to increase in this upcoming World Cup. So let's take a look at this moment in time. We've heard it all. We've covered it all in 2022, Lisa. We know that there are multiple players who are currently rehabbing from injury. We know that there are players, who are still working on their minutes as they were out on maternity leave. But we got to see a lot of minutes from a lot of good players on this United States women's national team. And as of right now, this moment, we want to share what we think at A3 are the most essential players at this point in time in their preparation for the World Cup.
These are in no particular order, I'm going to say. I'm going to put that out there. No particular order, but top 8 players, when you have 11 on the field, it's really interesting to kind of break that down and say who do we must have on that roster, even the January camp roster. Who are players we must have on that roster? I think Rose Lavelle, Mallory Pugh, Sophia Smith, Alyssa Nair, Naomi Girma, Lindsay Horan, Alex Morgan, and I'm going double goalkeeper, AD Franch. These are the players that Black Wendonowski must have on his roster.
We love defense. We love goalkeepers here. I'm with you. Listen, we were planning the content for this episode, and we were like, who's the 8? Who do we think are the 8 players that absolutely are essential to this team right now? Players that we know, that the players who already know they're going to be a part of that January camp in New Zealand. The 8 players
that are healthy at this point, right?
And players who are healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge no. And I'm with you. When we were going through this and we were going back and forth, we're like, well, we only have 7 players. Who's going to be that 8th? We said, hey, we're going with double goalkeeper here to make sure that there's an extra goalkeeper in these upcoming camps. And we had to go with French just based on form, based on what we saw in the regular season in NWSL, a top goalkeeper of the year finalist, went all the way to the NWSL championship final with Kansas City Current. And this was the goalkeeper. AD Franch was the goalkeeper that had to slot in to Alyssa Nair's place when they lost Alyssa Nair during their Olympic run for the bronze medal. So I don't know how you don't look at the current work, the current form of somebody like Franch, and then take a look at her experience with this women's national team program and not consider her an essential player moving forward into 2023. And I love that we've got a good mix of young players on here too, because I think we've seen enough, right? I think we've seen more than enough out of somebody like a Naomi Girma. And to sort of see how this player had her year in 2022, drafted number 1 overall, doing what she did with San Diego Wave FC, really making her return to the national team senior program kind of mid-year, and has not looked back, nor has the coaching staff. She has been a part of every single camp after getting called in mid-year.
She's the starting center back moving forward, like done and dusted. That's like there's no need to argue this or debate this. It's Girma. Oh, yeah. That's where she's got to be. But I agree. I mean, I think we did a nice mix of players that are veterans. You look at Rose Lavelle. She's been in this position before. Alyssa Nair, Lindsay Horan, AD Franch even, and Alex Morgan. This is a player that you and I both, we mentioned her. We were like, yeah, she is essential for this team, whether she gets the start as the 9 and she ends up scoring goals, or if she transitions into that player that maybe takes on more of that veteran role and takes on more of that leadership role and lets some of the younger ones go and get those 60 75, 80 minutes in the match. And then Morgan is the one that rotates on and can finish out and close out a game. I mean, we'll see how her role develops over the next year. I think Morgan is a player that people should be keeping an eye on as to how she develops, because she had a tremendous NWSL season, Golden Boot winner. Black Witanowski has been rewarding her for that. But moving forward, how does she take that role of being someone who has been on the team since she was really young, so she can teach those younger players in Smith, Gurma, about how to kind of take on this World Cup and playing in different countries and doing that. So I like that we added Morgan to this as well, because she's essential in my mind. I mean, yeah, these are the players. We can't go without them.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. We're likely to see him in those January camps that are going to take place in New Zealand. And that is going to be the first nation that the United States women's national team play a pair of friendlies against in their preparations for the World Cup.